ultimately everything combined has shown me that my goals and the things that I want to accomplish in life do not align with the military or the Navy and what is happening, and so I have made the decision to leave. Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. I am Rebecca Gypsy Soul. If it is your first time here, thank you for showing up. This video is a little bit of a story time coupled with just some life goal stuff, some things that I have learned, and some reasons behind why I have made the decision to get out of the military. I realize that some of you might not even realize that I was in the Navy. It's not something that I really talk about a whole lot, but I am. I have been active duty Navy since February 14th, 2014, when I raised my right hand. It has been a pretty incredible experience. I have learned a lot about myself, a lot about other people. I've had some really good experiences, I've had some really bad experiences, and that is what I'm going to be talking about today. I don't want you to think that this is me bashing the Navy or the military or the Department of Defense or the government or anything like that, because it's definitely not. I love my country. I'm happy that I have served, am serving. I have just reached the realization that this is not something that I want to do forever. I joined because I needed a way to get out of my hometown, and I needed a job, and I wanted to go to school, and I didn't want to go into debt for that. The Navy guaranteed all of those things, and I joined, and the rest is, as they say, history. About 6 months in, I realized that this was not something that I wanted to do forever. Some people find something that makes them stick around, and some people think that they can honestly stay and make a difference. To them, I say bravo. I have had some leadership that has been really incredible. But the thing of it is, and the really telling thing, is that I can count on one hand the leaders that I have had that have made a positive impact in my life and have actively tried to make the space around them better. And that is really telling to me. And the sad thing about it is that everything is so temporary. People come and they go so quickly that in practically no time at all, that person is gone, someone else has taken their place, and chances are really good that they just don't care the same way. They're there to ride it out until they're out of there and on to the next thing. And it makes a mockery of all the hard work that that person before them put in. It doesn't undo the positive impact that they've had and that they made on the people around them, but it just serves as a reminder, at least to me, that this is not something that I want to be a part of. It's toxic. It's a really toxic environment in a lot of ways, and I think that my energies would be better put towards something else. I made a promise to myself a long time ago when I was much younger that I would not stick with a job that I did not love. So we'll get into that a little bit and see how it goes. I'm going to be going over a few different reasons why I'm making that decision that I am, but the first thing, and the thing that I think is the most important and most impactful overall, is the political, bureaucratic, game-like mentality that seems to just pervade everything in the Navy. The Navy is a really big organization. It's got a lot of people, a lot of different tiers of leadership, and I honestly think that it's impossible to properly care for people when you have that much just going on. There's just so many different moving parts. A lot gets lost in just the jumble. And there is a phenomenon that the Army refers to as oak tree counseling, and there's actually a really good blog post about it that I read not too long ago, and I'm going to put the link in the description so you can read it, because the guy who wrote it does a much better job of explaining this than I am probably about to. But basically, the idea is that leadership is supposed to care for its junior personnel, all the way from the top down to the lowest member on the totem pole. And while that sounds really good in theory, it doesn't end up happening, because people tend to want to cut corners. They tend to want to just cover their own ass so that they look good, and a lot gets lost. People get lost in the shuffle, and they don't receive the care and the attention that they should. This job can be really stressful. Obviously it takes you far away from your family and your loved ones, and if there is not the general understanding that the people that you work for care about who you are and what you have going on, then a lot of problems can ensue. And I think we see that I think we see that all the time. It's all about creating this paper trail, right? It's about having people sign paperwork, so documenting that they've received training or counseling or whatever the case may be, so that if anything happens, the people who conducted the training, who are supposed to be making sure that their people are taken care of, can basically just wipe their hands and say, well, they received the training, so that's not on us. And people become just kind of pawns in a game of chess, or numbers on someone's board in an office somewhere. They're not even seen as actual human beings. There's a real disconnect. And if anyone ever says anything about it, or waves a flag about it, or complains about it, well, this is the military, this is the Navy, it's just the way it is. And I don't think that that's an acceptable answer. And it really bothers me. And I've seen it time and time again, and I just don't want to be a party to it. The second thing is, again, another kind of mentality that kind of just seems to go along with the whole Navy experience, and it's this you're either with us or against us thing. And while some of that makes sense, because of course we are all a team, we're united for a common goal, we have objectives that we have to meet, all of that makes sense. There's a real lack of understanding and acceptance of the fact that even though we all signed a contract and we are all here to do the job, we have lives outside of and away from this thing called the Navy and this military experience. Some of us have other goals and other things that we want to accomplish. Some of us aren't going to be here for 20 or 30 years, and we are doing our best to set ourselves up for success and to make sure that we are ready to go when our time comes to leave. And a lot of the time, leadership, people in positions of authority, people above that person saying that, they don't want to hear it. And it can result in something known as blackballing. And blackballing is just basically saying, well, if you're not here with us, you don't want to be a part of our program and what we have going on, you don't want to take on these extra duties and responsibilities, well, that's fine, but you're not going to get any kind of consideration for anything. No one's going to have any respect for you, and things are going to get really, really difficult for you around here. I have seen it happen to quite a few people. I have experienced it a little bit myself, and it's really uncomfortable and can get pretty ugly, and it's extremely unfortunate. And it's something that does not ever really get talked about enough. It's just like, you are here and you better be about every single thing that we have going on, and if you don't want to sign on for every little thing, well, that's fine, but your ass is grass. I'm over it. And then point number 3, it's something sort of ethereal and kind of hard to put your finger on. It's almost something that's like in the air or in the water or something. I can't point to a specific situation and go, that right there, that's what I'm talking about. But it's just this idea of this political correctness and this societal, cultural correctness that we see everywhere in society right now, but it's bled into the military as well. And while it might be all very good and well for that to exist out in the rest of the world, it's not a good thing to have in the military. You are allowed to live whatever life you want to live, and make whatever decisions you want to make, and do whatever you want, but the military is a really poor place for a social experiment, because we are supposed to be a war-fighting machine. We are supposed to be here to defend the country, and all of that other stuff comes in and it really just gunks up the works. And I realize that a lot of people don't want to hear that. A lot of people find that offensive, but it's just the reality, and it's just the way it is. Not everybody can be in the military. Not everybody should be in the military. About only 1% of the population can even join. So the fact that that is kind of coming in is really troubling to me, and I am concerned about what will happen for the military and the Navy later on down the road if this sort of trend continues, and I just don't care to be here to see all that happen. So, you know, there are a lot of positives to being in the military, like I said before, with the education and the steady paycheck, even just the healthcare, and knowing that if you get sick or something happens to you, they're going to patch you up. That is a real comfort to have. Not a lot of people have that, especially people my age. So I am thankful for those things, and I'm not minimizing those things or trying to throw the baby out with the bathwater or anything like that, but I think I would be remiss if I didn't acknowledge the fact that these things have, these negative things have really impacted me and made an impression on me to the point where I do not think I could in good conscience continue to be a part of the Navy and a part of what is happening, at least not in the way that I have been up till now. That is why in 2020 I will be separating from active duty and going on to do other things. And a part of me is afraid and a little bit scared of the unknown and what's going to happen. A part of me will always hear the voices in the back of my head of the people who are against anyone getting out of the military and don't understand why anyone would ever do it. I hear their words of caution and they're almost fear-mongering, but I'm not going to listen, and I'm not going to let fear be the reason why I don't step out and take advantage of a situation and try to build the kind of future in life that I want for myself. So life is far too short to be spent doing something that you do not absolutely love, working on someone else's dream. It's not worth it, at least not in my mind. And I refuse to let myself fall into that. So regardless of how scared I may be, regardless of how intimidating it is to leave the safety net of the Navy and the almost cult-like one of us type mantra that has been just permeating my life for the past 4.5 years, I'm still gonna do it. I hope that my points come across clearly. I hope that they made sense. I'm not trying to offend or upset anyone. I understand that a lot of people really love the military and are going to stay in as long as they possibly can, and good for you. But you shouldn't bash me or anyone else for wanting something else. We are all entitled to live the life and go for the goals and the dreams that we have. And we should be able to do that unharassed and uninhibited. That is it for this video. Thank you so much for watching. If you are still here, give it a thumbs up. If you liked it, hit the subscribe button so you'll know every time I post a new video. And stick around because I've got a lot of exciting things coming up that I am really looking forward to putting out there. So that is all from me for now. I will see you again soon for the next video. Have a wonderful week.